really didn't mean anything to me. Just was, these are the new guys. They're rocking. They're doing it. They're believing in it. They're living it. I don't care what they sound like. If that's where they're coming from, I'm behind them. And that was a great time in music. And a lot of my compatriots and my peers felt threatened by these people. They didn't see themselves in them, but they didn't look deep enough. If they'd have gone back, they could have seen themselves and what these people were doing in them and realized that this new generation of artists were reflecting the time that they grew up in, not the time that we grew up in. So their reflection was different. It made ours seem like old hat. And that's the way it goes. The next wave, you know. There's always another wave.
Neil Young, when we met him, we just thought he was the grandfather of granola, and as soon as we talked to him, we realized all of our preconceptions were wrong. He was really far out. I mean, really loopy, almost like a mad scientist. So when he asked us to participate in the movie, and he said he wanted us to be nuclear waste workers, any resistance we had to saying yes was gone.
At that point, they treated me like I was Grandpa Granola. I mean, I was like the old timer. But once I found them, I glommed right onto them. I was fascinated with them.
Neil came to the studio, and we all agreed we'd jam. He wanted us to jam on this song he had. So he showed us the song, and we started jamming, and the camera started rolling.
Devo jamming.
Devo jamming. You know, of course, right away we go for this really angular, bizarre, inorganic rhythm. Neil's just like playing like Neil Young rock and roll lead over the top of it, and Boogie Boy's in his playpen with a Moog synthesizer just making a cacophony of noises. And it went on and on and on. A T-shirt campaign that Mark and I did back in Ohio for Rust-Oleum. Rust Never Sleeps. We screened these logos, these T-shirts, and we gave Neil one. It's a paranoia thing. Rust never sleeps. Like, you know, there's always germs, there's always decay, there's always something trying to get you. You know, death is knocking at the door, right?
When we put that out, we put it out as a single. The radio stations called back saying there was something wrong with it. They said it's distorted. We have to have another. Give us another one. We really like the song, but it's so distorted. You know, we just told them, that's it. That's what it is. It's distorted. The message is distorted.
New bands that interest me. I like to listen to Flock of Seagulls, and what's that group, Human League? They got this thing out with it. All that stuff with the drum computers and the synthetic things is what I like.
The 80s were really good. The 80s were like artistically very strong for me because I knew no boundaries, and I was experimenting with everything that I could come across, sometimes with great success, sometimes with terrible results. But nonetheless, I was able to do this, and I was able to realize that I wasn't in a box, and I wanted to really establish that.
What I loved about Trans, in typical Neil fashion, he'd had the first synclavier synthesizers, and you know, we'd do Computer Age, and I'd be singing, and this voice he would call Sylvia, this high, you know, kind of female voice would be coming out of my mouth. It was very groundbreaking stuff with computers mixed with old school.
At that time, people were judging me based on the style of music I was doing, and they were criticizing me for not being genuine because I was changing my style so much, and people couldn't comprehend that you could believe what you were doing if you didn't do the same thing over and over again. And they said, Neil, you got to make a rock and roll record. I mean, you just have to. And I said, do you know what rock and roll is? And there was kind of a silence, and then I tried to figure out what it was. So I thought in my mind, well, rock and roll, what the hell is rock and roll? You know, let's go back in time.